feel that move. Alright, walk close, all close, resources at your reach. Everyday improvement's what we preach. Oh yeah, so join the vibe, make your day bright. The soulful journey, reach new heights.
Welcome back to SoulfulManifesting.com's podcast, everyone. Aston, I'm so excited for our second episode.
Me too, Birdie. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. I can't wait to discover some new tricks to start my day.
In this episode, we'll be talking about morning routines.
That's awesome.
And this is something that's really transformed my life. You know, I used to be that person hitting snooze like a million times.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just like scrambling to get ready, feeling frazzled. But once I started paying attention to those first couple of hours, yeah, it was amazing. Like unlocking a whole new level of energy and tension for my day. And I know we've got some awesome insights from experts that we're going to be diving into today.
Absolutely.
So I think, you know, for anyone listening who's feeling stuck in that morning rush or just wants to create a more powerful start to their day, this is going to be packed with good stuff.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's really fascinating is that experts say there's actually really strong correlation between them, between how we start our day and our overall success.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Like you think about high achievers, you know, a lot of them, they really point to those morning routines as being like a key ingredient that makes sense in their success. So it's really interesting to dive into that.
Yeah. It's like, you know, the morning is that one time when things are pretty predictable. It's like a pocket of calm before the craziness starts.
It's true. Yeah. The world's still quiet. Your inbox isn't blowing up yet.
Right.
And you have that space to actually connect with yourself and kind of set your intentions for the day.
Yeah.
It's like a secret weapon for manifesting the life you want.
Okay. So let's talk like practical stuff here.
Yeah.
How do we actually make the most of these morning hours?
Yeah.
I mean, for a lot of us, just getting out of bed feels like a Herculean effort.
Right. That's probably the biggest hurdle.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. But, you know, experts say one of the simplest things is consistency. Having a consistent wake up time really helps regulate your body's natural rhythms. And then it makes it easier to get up without feeling like you're fighting yourself.
This is something that Lana Lifts and talks about. She's a productivity expert, and she even recommends putting your alarm like across the room.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to physically get out of bed to turn it off. Yeah.
That's smart.
So it's like outsmarting the snooze button.
It's those little tweaks that can make such a big difference. And then, you know, once you're up, it's all about incorporating those practices that really set a positive tone for the day.
Right.
So Lena Lifts, for example, she's a big fan of tongue scraping.
Tongue scraping?
Yeah. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it, but it sounds a little intense.
It sounds a little unusual.
Yeah.
But experts say it's actually an ancient Ayurvedic practice, and it helps to remove bacteria buildup on your tongue.
Oh, wow.
So they say it can improve your breath and even boost your energy levels.
So it's not just about oral hygiene. There's like an energetic component to it.
Exactly. It's fascinating how these little practices can have like a ripple effect on your physical, mental, even spiritual well-being.
Wow.
Another one that she loves is ice rolling. Have you ever tried that?
I haven't, but I've seen it all over social media.
Oh, yeah.
What's the deal with ice rolling?
So experts say it can help reduce puffiness, and it also stimulates lymphatic drainage, which is good for detoxification. But even beyond the physical benefits, it's also a way to invigorate your senses and kind of wake up your skin.
So it's like a mini spa treatment first thing in the morning.
It's about finding those little rituals that make you feel good and kind of help you step into the day feeling really vital.
I love that.
Lena Lifts also talks about how important it is to get sunlight as early as possible.
Oh, I'm all about that morning sunshine. It really makes a difference in my mood.
There's actually science behind it.
Oh, really?
So when you get exposed to sunlight in the morning, it helps to regulate your circadian rhythm, which is that internal clock that impacts sleep quality, hormone production, even things like cognitive function and mood.
Wow. It's a powerful stuff.
Yeah. So it's not just about standing in the sun, though.
Okay.
Lena Leith also incorporates movement into her morning routine.
Yeah.
So sometimes she walks to a cafe to work or makes sure to fit in a walk during her commute.
And love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk hydration.
Yes.
Lena List is really big on starting the day with a big glass of water
Yes.
with lemon and sea salt. She says it helps with energy levels and prevents headaches.
Hydration is so important, especially after you've been sleeping all night. Your body is naturally dehydrated when you wake up. So replenishing those fluids, first thing, helps kickstart your metabolism and also improves mental clarity.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of energy, I know a lot of people rely on that morning cup of coffee
Sure.
to get going.
Absolutely.
Linoleus has a different approach though, right?
Yeah, she does. She follows what some experts call the 90-minute rule.
90-minute rule? What is that?
So basically, you delay your caffeine intake for about 90 minutes after you wake up.
Okay.
So experts think that by delaying that first cup of coffee, it can help prevent those mid-afternoon energy crashes.
Right.
And it can also help reduce your dependence on caffeine over time.
Because it's like a more sustainable way to get your energy.
Exactly, yeah.
So instead of reaching for coffee right away, Linolift's focuses on hydrating,
Yes.
getting some movement in. And then she'll have like a cup of green tea or black coffee.
Absolutely. It's a great example of making those small intentional choices that support your well-being without feeling restricted.
Totally.
All right, now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the mental and emotional side of the morning routine.
Okay. Love it.
So we've got Lenolifts and another expert spoon-fed study. They're both huge proponents of minimizing screen time for at least the first 2 hours of the day.
This is a tough one for me, I have to admit.
Yeah.
I'm so used to checking my phone the second I wake up.
I get it. It's a hard habit to break. But experts say starting your day bombarded by emails, news, social media, it can actually increase stress and contribute to feelings of anxiety and overwhelm.
And it makes sense.
It's like putting your brain in reactive mode before you've even had a chance to set your own intentions.
Wow. Yeah. That's powerful.
Yeah. Lena Liss actually talks about how checking the news first thing in the morning always put her in a negative headspace for the rest of the day. So it's all about being mindful of the information that you're taking in, especially during those crucial morning hours. So instead of scrolling through social media, maybe try listening to uplifting podcasts, audiobooks, or even music.
So it's like feeding your mind with positive, inspiring content instead of starting the day with all the negativity.
Yeah. It's about setting the tone for a more mindful and intentional day.
I love that.
Another practice that Lena Lifts is a big fan of is journaling. She says it's been a game changer for her mental health and her gratitude practice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Journaling is really powerful for self-reflection,
Yeah.
processing emotions, clarifying your thoughts, and it can also be a great way to track your progress, cultivate gratitude, and set intentions. Absolutely ahead of,
Okay. And speaking of intentions,
yes.
Spoon-Fed Study has this concept he calls the Sacred Five.
Oh, yeah, I love that one.
You tell me about this.
So it's about dedicating those first 5 minutes of your day to tackling your most challenging tasks to make meaningful strides in the areas of your life that matter most. And, I
Love it. All right. So let's talk about something that I think is so important. Connecting with nature.
oh, yes. One of my favorite topics.
I am such a nature lover.
Me too.
And I know there's so much research out there showing the benefits of spending time in green spaces.
So many studies show that it reduces stress, improves focus, it can boost creativity.
I mean, I feel that like even a few minutes outside just totally shifts my mood.
There's actually a theory called the biophilia hypothesis,
Okay.
which suggests that humans have this like innate connection to nature.
Interesting.
It's like we're wired for it. So it makes sense that being outdoors can be so restorative.
Absolutely. And Spoon-Fed Study recommends, even having breakfast outdoors
Yeah.
or near a window just to maximize that exposure to natural light.
Yeah, it's all about finding those little ways to bring those elements of nature into your daily life.
I love that.
And, we can't forget about gratitude.
It's
Spoon-Fed Study also talks about how practicing gratitude can increase activity in the brain's learning and decision-making center.
wow. So it's like literally changing your brain.
It's pretty amazing, right? Like the simple act of appreciating what you have can have such a profound impact on your mental and emotional well-being.
I've heard that gratitude can actually rewire your brain for happiness.
It's true. There's a lot of research on it.
Wow.
So, just taking a few moments each morning to reflect on what you're grateful for can create those long-term changes in your brain and ultimately lead to greater happiness.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about physical practices like tongue scraping and ice rolling. We've talked about mental and emotional strategies like minimizing screen time and practicing gratitude.
Yeah.
It seems like there's so many different ways to approach this morning routine thing.
There really is. And that's what's so cool about it. There's no one size fits all approach, right? It's really about finding what works for you and creating a routine that feels both enjoyable and effective.
Totally. And before we move on, I just wanted to remind everyone listening that we have some amazing free resources available on soulfulmanifesting.com. Yes, to help you design a morning routine that really aligns with your goals and values.
Absolutely. So check those out.
So definitely check those out.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll dive into some more practical tips
Sounds good.
for creating a morning routine that actually sticks.
I'm excited.
Awesome. Me too.
Let's do it.
Looking to unlock the life you've always dreamed of? At soulfulmanifesting.com, we've got free tools and resources to help you align with abundance, manifest your desires, and embrace self-care and healing. Visit us today and start your journey to a more empowered you.
Okay. So we've talked about a lot of different practices here.
Yeah.
And it can feel kind of overwhelming.
It can.
Like, where do you even begin?
Yeah. I think a lot of people get stuck there.
Totally.
It's like, I want to do all the things right. And then life happens and you end up doing nothing.
Exactly. It's like paralysis by analysis.
Yes, exactly.
So I think a shift in perspective can be really helpful here. Instead of viewing a morning routine as this rigid set of rules, think of it more like a menu of options.
I like that.
You could pick and choose the practices that resonate with you.
Okay.
And create a personalized routine that actually fits your lifestyle.
So it's not about trying to become linoliths or spoon-fed steady.
Exactly.
It's about finding what works for me.
It's about finding your own rhythm.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to experiment.
Okay.
Start by incorporating 1 or 2 new habits at a time.
Okay.
And just see how they feel.
Like baby steps.
Exactly.
Okay.
Notice the impact they're having on your energy levels, your focus, your mood.
So maybe instead of trying to overhaul my entire morning routine overnight,
Right.
I try adding just 15 minutes of journaling each day.
Yeah.
Or experiment with that 90-minute coffee rule.
Perf. That's a great approach. It's about making those incremental changes that feel sustainable and enjoyable.
Right. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to keep doing it.
Exactly. Consistency is key. The more you can make these practices a non-negotiable part of your morning, the more they'll just become ingrained habits.
That's so true. I've noticed that with my own routine. Like once I made those practices a priority, it felt weird not to do them.
Totally.
It's like they became a part of who I am.
It's like you're creating this positive feedback loop.
Yeah,
The more you invest in those healthy habits, the more you reap the benefits, and then the more motivated you are to keep going.
totally. Okay. But real life doesn't always go according to plan.
Oh, I know, right?
Like what happens when our morning routine gets thrown off by unexpected events? You know those days when we sleep through our alarm or the kids are sick or we have an early flight to catch?
Yeah.
How do we stay on track when those curveballs inevitably come our way?
That's where flexibility comes in. Okay, it's really helpful to have a plan B for those days when you can't stick to your full routine. Yeah, so maybe it's a shortened version of your usual practices, or maybe it's just choosing 1 or 2 non-negotiables that you commit to no matter what.
Okay, so if I don't have time for my full hour-long workout,
Right.
maybe I do a quick 10-minute yoga flow or some stretching.
Exactly.
Or if I can't journal for my usual 20 minutes, maybe I just jot down a few things I'm grateful for.
Exactly. It's about finding ways to honor the spirit of your routine, even when you can't follow it perfectly.
I love that. And another thing that helps me is prepping as much as possible the night before.
Oh, that's so smart.
Like laying out my workout clothes, packing my lunch, deciding what I'm having for breakfast.
Those little things make such a difference
They do.
in reducing stress and decision fatigue in the morning.
Yes,
It's like you're setting your future self up for success.
totally. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Technology. It can be so tempting to reach for our phones first thing in the morning.
It's so true. It's such a challenge in our hyper-connected world.
It is.
But remember what we talked about earlier about minimizing screen time for at least those first 2 hours of the day?
I know it's important, but honestly, it feels almost impossible sometimes.
I hear you.
My phone is like an extension of my arm.
It's a habit that takes conscious effort to break. It does, but the benefits are so worth it.
Yeah.
Imagine starting your day without that constant barrage of information and stimulation.
Right.
You create space for silence, for reflection, for connecting with yourself.
Okay, so instead of scrolling through Instagram or checking the emails, yeah, I could be meditating. You could be reading a book or simply enjoying a cup of coffee in peace.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming those precious morning hours and setting a more mindful and intentional tone for the day.
Okay, I'm liking this.
One practical tip is to designate a tech-free zone in your home. Maybe it's your bedroom or your dining room table. The idea is to create a physical boundary that helps you resist that urge to reach for your phone.
I love that. It's like creating a sanctuary
Exactly.
where I can recharge and connect with myself before plugging back into the digital world. So
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And there are other things you can do to minimize those tech temptations too.
like what?
Adjust your phone settings to turn off non-essential notifications.
Okay.
You can put your phone on do not disturb mode.
Yeah.
Or even use apps that block access to certain websites or apps during specific times.
Oh, wow. So there's like apps for that?
There are apps for everything these days.
That's amazing.
It is.
I've definitely noticed that when my phone's buzzing with notifications, it's so easy to get sucked into that vortex of distraction.
It is. It's a slippery slope. It's all about being mindful and intentional with your technology use. Remember, you're in control.
I love that you're in control.
You are.
Okay. So we've talked about the practicalities of creating a morning routine.
Yes.
But I think it's important to address the why.
Yes. The why is so important.
Why is it so important to dedicate this time and energy to our mornings?
At its core, it's about self-care.
Okay.
It's about prioritizing your well-being and setting yourself up for a more fulfilling and productive day.
I think a lot of people view morning routines as just another task to add to their already busy schedule.
Oh, I know.
But it's so much more than that.
It's an investment in yourself.
Yes.
It's a way to cultivate self-awareness. Reduce stress, boost your mood, enhance your overall quality of life.
I love that.
And when you feel good, you show up differently in the world.
I've definitely noticed that in my own life. When I take the time to nurture myself in the morning, I'm more patient, more focused, more creative, more energized throughout the day.
It's like a ripple effect. The positive energy that you cultivate in the morning radiates outward into all areas of your life.
So it's not just about being more productive. It's about becoming a better version of ourselves.
It's about aligning your actions with your values and creating a life that feels both meaningful and fulfilling.
I love that. And it's important to remember that this is a journey, not a destination.
So true.
There will be days when we nail our morning routine, of course, and days when we completely fall off track.
Absolutely.
The key is to approach it with a sense of curiosity and self-compassion.
I love that.
Yeah,
There's no such thing as a perfect morning routine.
that's true.
It's about finding what works for you.
Yeah.
Experimenting, adapting, and continually evolving.
And it's about celebrating the small wins along the way.
Yes.
Even if you only manage to incorporate one new habit or get 5 minutes of extra sleep, acknowledge those efforts and keep moving forward.
I love that.
As we're talking about all this, I keep thinking back to that concept of a clean morning that we touched on earlier.
It's a powerful idea.
It is. Can you remind us what a clean morning actually entails?
Sure. So it's really about being intentional with how you spend those first few hours of your day, minimizing distractions, especially from technology and social media, and just focusing on activities that nourish your mind, body, and spirit. And so instead of,
So it's not just about being like super productive.
no,
It's about being mindful and creating space for those things that really matter.
exactly.
I love that. Imagine waking up feeling rested and energized, and then spending those first couple hours doing things that align with your values and goals.
I love it.
No rushing, no frantic email checking, no feeling overwhelmed before the day even begins.
It's about creating that sense of calm and clarity before you step into the demands of the outside world.
Okay. I have to admit, the idea of completely disconnecting from technology those first 2 hours sounds a little daunting. Is that even realistic?
I get it. It's a big shift, but think of it as an experiment. What if instead of reaching for your phone first thing,
Yeah.
you replace that habit with something equally engaging and enjoyable?
Okay. Like, what do you?
What if you spent those 30 minutes that you'd normally be scrolling through social media, reading an inspiring book,
Right.
or listening to a podcast that expands your knowledge?
Okay.
Or maybe you use that time to connect with loved ones, journal, or just enjoy a peaceful cup of coffee
Yeah.
while watching the sunrise.
When you put it that way, it sounds a lot less like deprivation
Right.
and a lot more like opportunity.
It's about shifting your perspective and recognizing that disconnecting from technology isn't about missing out.
Right.
It's about creating space for something more valuable.
Okay. I'm convinced. So, how do we actually make this clean morning a reality? Where do we begin?
Well, I think the first step is to identify those biggest time wasters
Okay.
in your current morning routine.
Got it.
Is it social media? Is it the news?
Yeah.
Is it hitting the snooze button multiple times? Once you've pinpointed those energy drains, then you can start replacing them with activities that align with your values and goals.
So, it's about being mindful of where we're currently investing our time and energy,
Exactly. And making conscious choices to shift those.
habits, and starting small.
Yes,
We don't have to do this all at once.
absolutely. You don't have to overhaul your entire routine overnight.
Okay, good.
Maybe you start by committing to just 15 minutes of tech-free time each morning,
Okay.
or replacing one scrolling session with a quick meditation or a walk outside.
So, like baby steps.
Exactly. Baby steps.
Okay.
Those small changes can make a huge difference over time.
They really can. It's amazing how much those little things add up.
It's like you're creating this ripple effect.
Yeah,
Each positive choice you make in the morning creates this momentum
I love that.
for a more intentional and fulfilling day.
Oh my gosh. This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I'm glad I'm walking away feeling so inspired and empowered to really create a morning routine that nourishes me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Remember, the power is within you. You have the ability to design a morning that sets you up for success in all areas of your life.
That's so powerful. And for anyone listening who's ready to dive deeper and create their own clean morning, I just want to remind you to check out the amazing free resources we have available on soulfulmanifesting.com.
Yes.
You'll find guided meditations, journal prompts, tips for minimizing tech distractions, and so much more.
So many good things.
Yes, so many good things.
Go check it out.
Definitely check it out.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this journey of soulful manifesting.
It's been a pleasure.
We're so grateful that you're here, and we can't wait to connect with you again in our next episode.
I'm excited.
Until then, may your mornings be filled with intention, joy, and boundless possibilities.
Beautiful.
At soulfulmanifesting.com, we believe in the power of manifesting and self-care. That's why we offer some amazing free resources to help you improve your life and help you create the abundant life you deserve. Check us out today.